Bone soup is what I make. A magical bone is all it takes. Boil it long and add some spice. Bone soup tastes so very nice. One by one, the town creatures opened their doors and walked towards Finnegan and his fire. What are you singing about? What are you boiling? What a dry old bone. You can't make soup out of that. Any ghoul knows as well. Finnegan smiled. Well, then I must not be a ghoul, for I'm making such a soup. The little werewolf crouched at Finnegan's side. I've never heard of bone soup before, but I think I'll like it. In some places I have traveled, bone soup is considered a delicacy, Finnegan explained. Besides, this is no ordinary bone. It's magic. He tasted the broth again and sighed. If only there were some stewed eyeballs. With eyeballs, the soup would be very tasty. The little werewolf tugged at Finnegan's cloak. The witch has a jar of those. I know she does. All the villagers stared at the witch, and her face turned an even brighter shade of green. Yes, I do, she stammered. But they're imported. The villagers stared at the witch until finally she fetched some from her stash. The eyeballs were fabulously addition to the soup, but soon Finnegan looked wistful. If only this had some bat wings. Can you just imagine what flavor they would add? The little werewolf tugged at Finnegan's side. The beast has a cupboard full of those. I saw them myself. Embarrassed, the beast fetched an entire box of bat wings. The wings were added, and just as Finnegan had said, their flavor was wonderful. Finnegan continued to stir the soup, but he looked longingly into the cauldron. Now, if only we had frog legs, this soup would be fit for a king. The little werewolf tugged once more at Finnegan's cloak. The zombies have a cellar filled with them. Just ask them. Before Finnegan could ask, the zombie children had fetched all the frog legs they could carry. The frog legs were stirred into the broth, and soon the cauldron was also boiling with toenail clippings, spider eggs, dried mouse droppings, and dandelion. The final dusting of slime and sludge. The soup was declared ready. Of course the soup is wonderful alone, said Finnegan, but it takes only wormy cheese, bread, and company to make a true Halloween feast. Go, bring your cheese, bread, and bowls, so we can share this bone soup together. What fabulous soup! Such good flavor! Truly fit for a king. To think it was all made from a magic bone. And so it was that Finnegan got his Halloween feast after all. With a final wave to the werewolf, Finnegan quickly left with his eating stool, his eating spoon, and his gigantic smiling mouth.
Hello everybody, we are here today to make our own bone stew from scratch, in this iPixel. And I can assure you I went out and found some of the best ingredients for bone stew that you can find. For instance, we have brains, frog legs, grave moss, bones, swamp water, have some peeled back skin, some fingers, have eyeballs, have our spider eggs, have some graveyard dirt, found some fingernails, and we also have some cartilage, because that's the best part. What can I make with all these really gross ingredients? Well, a really amazing stew. Want to see? Let's go. You're going to be giving the ingredients that the witch has dropped off for us about 3 to 5 minutes to soften up in the bottom of our pan. One of the first things we're going to be adding to our stew to start cooking up is the cartilage that we found and our fingernails, because those are pretty much the base of our whole stew right there. After that has been browning up for a little while, we're going to add in our brains. And get those to brown up in the bottom of the pan with the other ingredients. While we're getting that browning, now would probably be a good time to toss in our graveyard dirt to help season it a little bit. And while that is cooking up in another pot, we are going to start out on our frog legs. For what we need to do with them, we're going to start them searing in the bottom of our pot. Oh, noisy frog legs, huh? And we are going to cover them with about 1 inch of water. I think they're trying to escape. Better make sure they're dead, huh? While those brains are cooking up, I think it's appropriate time to add in our spider eggs. And as you can see, we attacked a couple different types of species. But don't worry, they'll be okay. These are just the extras. Alright, once everything is browned up in our pan already, we need to add in our skin clippings. We're going to add in our fingers, but I'd personally like to snap them in half because the flavor comes out that way. So I'll be adding those slowly but surely. I'll see you back in a minute or two. I've taken the liberty of giving that a quick stir. The things that are left to add are the bones. And our swamp water. We're going to add a little bit more swamp water from our reserves over here. And I will be back to tell you some of the rest in a minute. With that additional swamp water added, I'm going to be throwing in our eyeballs, which you've taken the liberty of slicing up. And this is going to go on a nice low simmer for probably about a good 40 minutes. So I'm going to give it a really good stir. And we'll see you back here in about 40. Alright, once that soup's been cooking for probably about a good 20 minutes, I'm going to slice up our frog legs and put them in. Give that a good stir. This is going to be a witchy goulash, to say the least. And then to cook down slowly but surely into our stew, we're going to put handfuls of our graveyard moss. And that, of course, is going to get stirred in and wilt down, and eventually make a delicious stew. We're going to give this a good 20 or 30 minutes to cook, if not a little longer, because there's a lot of flavors in here, and I can't wait to try it out. Alright, I'll be back in a little while. And after a while, it's cooked up and down into this beautiful thick soup. So I'm going to try it out in a moment. Alright, soup is done. It is time to taste it. It looks hearty and delicious. There's a ton in it, and I get to freeze some probably. But, you know, you can't let brains and stuff go bad. That would be a travesty. I don't even know how to taste all of it. It's all so much. There. Wow, that is like a really hearty, really amazing stew. I like all the flavors in it. I think it needs a little tiny bit of salt for taste for my happiness, but I don't know. Everybody's a little different on that subject. That's why I don't put a lot in. But everything's cooked nice. I think the only thing that's a little overcooked, I hate saying it on my part, is the green beans. So maybe put them more in near the end. But this is a hearty, amazing meal. I hope you make it sometime. The real ingredients will be in the end and listed below. So keep an eye out for those. Let me know if you make it. Let me know what you think. Tell me what you would have done differently. Leave me a like. Leave me a comment about it. And I will see you next time.